Welcome to Journey to CEO Success. I'm your co host, Melissa Saunders, and I'm joined by Patrick Thean, award winning serial entrepreneur, renowned CEO coach, and best selling author, recognized by the Wall Street Journal and USA Today. Patrick's latest book, The Journey to CEO Success, is a #1 Amazon bestseller and the inspiration behind this podcast. Patrick, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. It's great to be here today.
Today's guest is Eva Kosanovic, co founder and CEO of Circle29, a digital transformation partner helping mid sized companies turn technology into real growth. Before launching Circle29, Eva spent more than 2 decades as a global leader, most recently serving as president for the Americas at Keeler, where she led a $50 million business. Eva, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Melissa. It's great to be here.
Great to have you.
Yes. Yes, Eva, thank you so much for coming to our show. I've been dying to talk to you. But let's start with Circle 29. It's a very unique name, Circle 29. So take 2 minutes and tell us about Circle 29, what it is that you guys do, what's the story behind Circle 29.
Sure. So Circle29, like Melissa said, is a digital operations and transformation firm that partners with leadership teams of mid-size, often complicated businesses or slightly complicated businesses. And we help them simplify their systems and modernize how work gets done and scale things up without breaking their people. I really decided to start Circle29 after spending years inside complex organizations myself and seeing the same pattern repeating itself. There's strong leaders, there's good execution, but often systems and execution that need to keep up with the growth cannot, for many reasons. Too often they feel either overwhelming or expensive. And sometimes the legacy talent is just not capable to take us to the next stage. So we saw the need to create a different model that's one that's practical, operator led, and deeply aligned with how leaders make decisions in real world. So that's kind of like where it came from. I'm happy to talk more about it.
Yeah.
It's
But by the way, I'm curious, you said something about doing transformation without breaking people. So tell me about that. So transformation is not easy, right? Sounds cool. Everyone says, I love transformation. I can do transformation. Yeah, buddy, until it's done to you. Then
yeah.
you're not so happy about transformation. So tell me about that when you say without breaking people. What does that mean?
Well, the difference here is that we work from the outside in, and we don't start with technology. We just start with the clarity of how decisions are made, where the frictions and other stuff exists, and where actually needs to be scaled, and then understanding the team, the structure behind that, to really design the systems and ways that support the business rather than slowing it down. And so really demonstrating and working together with people within the organization to unlock, because obviously everything that most people that work in organizations of these kind of businesses that we are focusing on, they deeply care, they're passionate, they have helped those companies get to where they've got to, and they are the legacy and the crux of it. But again, sometimes they just need that additional muscle to help
Yeah.
them, really grow into their next stage. And so we do that on a human level. We really try to understand and empathize, and without the push and aggression, to really give those people that are crux of it, the backbones of the organizations, the tools and
Yeah.
support that they need. So, so they feel empowered. So that it's joyful journey as opposed to, tough, difficult time.
Yeah, so every transformation I've witnessed has been to some degree difficult and challenging, right? So, and as you know, my podcast is about helping people have a joyful and successful journey. So joy and success together. Uh, but I'm curious, like when you go through digital transformation, how do you actually do that? Because I think what I've seen is that you have some people, that embrace and have the skills to move forward. Some people embrace but don't have the skills to move forward. And some people think they embrace but don't really embrace and they kind of move out. So how do you do that in such a way? How have you done it in such a way that people have been able to maintain a positive attitude and a positive journey, and hopefully even some joy.
Yeah. I think we're still at the start and we're learning. And I think each of those situations is different. Like you described, you have many different um, stages that the companies are at and the leadership team. And yes, there are some companies that are totally at the CEO level all the way through, kind of already embedded that let's go for change, let's drive the change. And those are easy to deal with, of course. And then there's ones where you really have the passion there, but maybe not necessarily the capabilities, and that's where we really add the expertise, the skills of the people that are part of the team that I work with are really there on from the ground level to really understand the change management that people need to grow through, the mindset that it takes to evolve. Because of course, like everybody knows what they do and they're comfortable, and then being challenged to do something different, it's unusual and unnatural for most people, and so we have to take them through that journey and show them that there is value in what they do, and there
Yes.
is definitely.
How do you do that? You know what you just said about people have to be willing and happy to learn new skills, right? Learn new
Mhm,
tools, new. Put in the word new. And again, I've always found that there's some people that think that they're
mhm.
ready to embrace that, but when they begin, it's hard. And then sometimes they say, "Oh, I'm too old to learn." I'm like, guys, you're not too old to learn. When you think you're too old to learn, that's when you're getting old. So stop, right? So
Yeah.
that's how I encourage people to kind of go through this without feeling that way. But so I'm
Mhm.
60 plus now. I hit my 60s now, and I find myself in that same category of people that I have to encourage. So I always encourage myself, like, hey, Patrick, if you want to live longer, you better learn more. That's what I keep telling
Yeah.
myself. You gotta keep being curious, right?
Curiosity, yeah. Yeah, I mean that's same for me. What's always driven me is passion for learning and passion for asking questions and being curious about what is either happening here or what is driving somebody as well. I think understanding what is somebody's motivation is really really important as well. I'd say we start off first with listening. You have to be actively listening for those things, as you take somebody through that journey to make them feel empowered, to not to create the sort of the pull back, but to be open,
Yeah.
is to listen, to understand what is the individual's position, what is their passion, what is their drive, what is their the view of life, and what is their joy, right? Like where did they find joy as well, because everybody is different and their motivations are different. So really understanding people from where they come from, where they are, listening, and then taking them on a journey. I think one thing that I, love that when we talk to people, and sometimes a little bit too much, there's this like journey of like the change of how things are and how things can be and how to get from there to here without feeling overwhelmed and without using complex jargon and confusing people into like something that is sort of scary or daunting. It's really to bring things down to very simple levels that are able for everybody to understand, because nothing is that complicated.
Mm, mm. So what advice do you give people? What's the best attitude they should adopt when they are fearful and they need to go through the transformation because they don't have a choice? In other words, my boss said we're doing this, so I guess we're doing this, and I'm scared. I'm scared that my job will be changed in this transformation. I might be fired or whatever. Or how do you get them to? Because I think more than half of the potential success has to do with my attitude, right? Like if I
Hmm.
go into this with the attitude that, hey, I'm gonna maybe get promoted, maybe I'll have a better job, maybe I'll learn more skills, maybe make myself, more usable in this new world. But how do you? What's your advice for someone like me to kind of go through the transformations that you're doing?
I think it is simple. It's always sometimes for me is looking saying to everybody, look back to your life as well, right? Because you're the one that knows yourself. No one's been unaffected by change, right?
Mm,
Like whatever you've done in your whole life, there's been a change. Whether or not you instigated that change or that change came your way, you have dealt with that and you're still here, right? Like this, so like even on the most like the most complicated level of somebody who does not want to change at all, just showing that you have naturally, being a human being living through the world that we live in, have had to adjust and adopt and change. um, it doesn't have to be like complex change management or moving country like we did or something different, but
Yes.
even very simple life progressions, things just are constantly changing. That is the only guarantee that we have in life. And so there is no one that can look back on their life and say, oh, I've never had to deal with change, I've never had to challenge myself, I've never had to go through something, and then saying, well, you got through it, so where are you now, right? Like, how did that affect you? And
Yes.
so that's more natural, I think, than sort of really saying, well, if you don't do this, you'll be left behind, and if you are, not learning all the time, what's the point? Like, that's
Yeah.
very preachy, very wrong.
Well, the
my
secret, I'm listening to what you say. I'm learning something today. I think what you're showing me is the secret is for me to even realize, number one, I'm already in a process of change. Like, you didn't wake up and say to me, Patrick, today is your first day of change, right?
Yeah,
No. This
no,
you're saying to me, hey, buddy, life has constant change. So no, you probably better at this than you realize.
totally.
Actually, yeah, you can do this. You can do
Yeah,
this. There's really nothing to do. Actually, you've lived it. You've had change already. So
correct.
it's not going to be that bad. Okay, I get
Correct.
it. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when you're young and you don't know anything, but you think you know everything, but then how much you've learned along the way, right? And all that
Yes.
new learning has served you well. Nothing that you've learned and served has served you badly or poorly. So continue learning because
Yes.
you are always doing something new. And whilst we are
Yeah.
alive,
So let's now talk about your life and your journey. So as you know, our podcast, this show is about helping CEOs have a more joyful and successful life, joy and success together, not sacrificing one for the other. And your journey has been magical. I mean, myself, I've only lived in two countries. Singapore, actually three countries: Malaysia, Singapore, and the U.S. I don't count the first one because my parents moved us when I was one. So what do I know? But
yeah.
you from Yugoslavia have moved like in so many different countries, and you're such a joyful individual. How Tell me about your journey. How have you gone through these physical journeys and landed in a new country with the right attitude? And how have you found your joy every single time? What's your secret?
Um, That's a good question. I think partly there's a lot of stuff that's natural, like number one, but I'm a bit like you. Some things, I had no choice. Yeah, Yugoslavia, believing that beautiful home and family and things we had to do when I was in my early teens. Um, it's a big change. But again, I've always think, well, I had my family with me, and I have a peace within that. Whatever happens will be okay. And I think that probably is more my nature than anything else. But then I think over the years, like we've just talked about, um, learning a new language, going to new school, starting another new school, going to university. Every single time there's a new challenge, and there's just this natural curiosity as to what can this bring, what is this gonna look like. Scary and daunting at the same time, absolutely. But it's also like, oh well, this is exciting. And so, like, the more you do it, the more you realize, again, back to this, like, well, change is happening anyway. And every single time it's actually been good and okay. So I'm not going to be fearful of it or be, thinking too much about what it can be, just being present. And
Just
that's
being
like, that's my,
present.
I always joke with people when we talk about what's our purpose. And I always say, well, just be, and,
Yeah.
like, it's very hard when I'm talking to my other peers who, we like have this drive to lead, to do this. And yes, I do want to do that, but I also just want to be present in the moment and
Yes.
enjoy it. And so, yeah, like
So,
the
so I want to
journey
I want
was,
to pause you for a second there because you said something that I really want to spend some time on. You said just be present, and I was thinking as you were sharing your story that here are some things that I think have given you. Number one is family. You said your family's with you, so your family gives you the strength to say, "Hey, as long as we're together,
Yeah.
we're cool. It's gonna be okay." And then I also heard you talk about the excitement. Like, yeah, it could be daunting, but on the other side of it, what do I not yet know, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what am I about to experience?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two lessons I've learned. And the third lesson you just shared, which I want to pause on, is you said, be present, just be instead of strive, just be. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I think in the world in general, it's human nature, and also the societal pressure is to always be thinking about being better, doing more, achieving more, or like what have I done, judging, and just overwhelming pressures that we put on ourselves and society puts on ourselves. And you look at young children and how much anxieties they have, but like what a joy you can have just from being present in the moment. And here I'm talking to you and I'm just enjoying myself, right? This conversation is enjoyable. I'm not thinking about what I'm going to do after the call. I'm not thinking about, oh, what are the things like Patrick's going to ask me. I'm like living in the moment and enjoying it. And I think that,
How do you do that? How do you do that? What you just said, you know, Eva, is magical. Just so you know. I think for you it may come easy, but
yeah,
unlock that a little bit for us. Like, how do you do what you just said? Just be
yeah,
here, experience, enjoy. How do you do that?
I guess hmm, I'm interested in what you were saying. I'm interested in anyone I speak with. So back to this active listening.
Mm,
You're picking up what I'm saying. I'm picking up what you're saying. We're feeling energized in the conversation, and it's
yes.
keeping me here, right? So I'm. Could I be present in a conversation which is boring? I don't know. Like maybe I'll struggle, but maybe I'll flip it and I'll ask questions
Yes.
and I will be more curious about the person I'm interacting with, and therefore naturally extract something that would continue to keep my interest and presence to be present. But obviously, it's easy with you because you're
Right.
amazing.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
there's a bit about you know just staying in the moment, um, saying that I am want to know what is happening here in this dialogue, and I want to contribute as well as I want to learn something. And this is back to like I had some notes prepared, I had some stuff prepared, but like learning
Yeah.
that just being present is so much more joyful than anything else that's scripted or acted or you know
Yeah.
distractions are
Yeah.
just not good.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you for being present, but I definitely interrupted your flow of thought. I apologize. But,
It's
but
okay.
it's so hard. Like, I speak to so many executives who especially today's culture. I think today's culture almost celebrates that distracted thing, that ADD kind of a thing. We say, oh, these entrepreneurs, they're also ADD and they're so successful. And I think the world teaches us sometimes incorrectly that it's A or B. It doesn't have to be A or B. It can be A and B, and I don't think we should have to celebrate that. Oh, you're not going to be a great entrepreneur unless you are highly distracted, catching flies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't have to be that way either.
No.
So but I speak to so many people who get so distracted so easily, and they have trouble just just literally being, as you said.
Mm.
That's why I was so attracted actually by what you said. Yeah,
We should write a book about that.
we should. We should. Yeah.
uh, I know. I think it's for me. Maybe it's easier. Like I don't have children running around distracting me, and I do really practice what I preach. I do choose to do things that I enjoy doing. I do not force myself to do things that I don't enjoy. I'm very selective about how I spend my time. I love to be active. I love to be doing stuff, but I also really, really love one-on-one conversations. I really prefer deep conversations, and meaningful conversations rather than superficial, like, those kind of like networking sometimes calls. So I try to
Yes.
sometimes avoid those two, because
Yes.
energy, we only have so much energy, and it's really important how we use that energy. And so for me, success and joy is about what you define that to be, but also what are the relationships that you're building, because they are additive to me. And so I will choose which ones I want to add to my soul and my well-being,
Yes.
because I want to live the life, then I want to create my life that I want to live and never want to escape it.
I talk to so many people about this topic of joy and success. This is the first time in talking with you that I've put two words together, and and my two words are joy and resiliency.
Mm.
And the reason why I say that is it appears to me, I may be wrong. I'm just right now just being here with you.
Hmm.
But it appears to me that in all your moves, different countries and everything else that's changed, you've had a positive attitude of saying, hey, what I might will be can be exciting as well. But I think I'm guessing that it might take some resiliency to pick up and say, you know what, it's okay. It's going to
Hmm.
get done. And I'm sure when you arrive in a new place, there's stuff that didn't work out.
Hmm.
But you
Hmm.
probably got up, your
Yeah.
knees were skinned, and it's okay. And you moved on. And I think that takes quite a bit of resiliency.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
You hit the nail on the head, actually. Interesting, because I was talking to one of my friends not that long ago, and we come from different, you know, world and different life and stuff. But there was something about something that was like we'd both moved to Philadelphia from different places, and he said something like, well, the difference is that you and I are resilient, like unlike some of, like,
Mm.
and he kind of was like a bit judgy of some of our friends, but not in a negative way, in a way that it was just that this was similarity between us. And I think you're right. I think that anyone, that has had a failure, a step up or fall or some challenge in their life, definitely then has a muscle built up to not fear that, not to fear the change, not to fear failure, but know that they'll be okay. And therefore that muscle of resilience just like kind of protects the inner core of joy, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like a muscle that protects that kind of,
Yes.
I don't know what do you want to call it, the core.
Yeah. And then
um
and then the phrase usually I hear very resilient people use all the time is a really simple phrase, and it's gonna be okay.
yeah,
That's what I hear all the time. Like in some of my toughest moments,
I
my
have it
friends
on
will
my
say to
fridge
me,
magnet.
yeah, my friends will say to me, you know what, Patrick, it's gonna be okay. And
Yeah.
in that moment where I think, you know what, Rod was right. It's gonna be okay. I'm
Hmm.
not gonna die. I
Hmm.
have food.
Hmm.
I still have a roof over my head. I've got a wonderful family that loves me.
Yeah.
You're right. It's
I
gonna
think
be.
the other word is gratitude, right? If we
Yes.
talk about that what you just said builds on exactly that. I'm okay because I'm grateful for everything that I have, everything that I've achieved, and everything that I am as a person, as a human being. Number one, I am grateful for that. And then everything else that I've, along the way touched and interacted with and collected or experienced, I'm grateful for. And that gratefulness and, being present and understanding that I am okay
Yeah.
just creates that real nice, I don't know, protection around my joy.
And then I think the resilient part means making positive decisions to move forward, right?
Hmm.
Like, okay, if something bad happens to me, I may wallow in self pity for a little bit of time, and then I notice it. I notice it.
Hmm.
I go, hey, Patrick, what the hell are you doing? You're
Yeah.
freaking in self pity. Are you done, buddy? So this is my self talk. I'm like, are you done, buddy? No. Okay, fine. I'll give you 10 more minutes. Go ahead. Like, beat yourself up. Enjoy your pain. And I'm like, what the heck am I doing? okay, are you done? Like, I think I'm done. Okay, it's gonna be okay, buddy. Just it's okay. Just get up and check out what's around you. It's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. But I do that. I do ask myself, are you done? Like, do you need more time to just be unhappy? Sit in your pile of dirt? Are you? Go ahead, enjoy yourself. And I'm like, I'm not really enjoying myself. Okay,
Yeah.
buddy, you done? I'm like, okay, I'm done. And so I do think it does take a positive decision to say, I'm done
Mm-hmm.
of in this place, and it's okay. I just need to take one step forward. Which, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, I've learned that in running companies, especially young companies, it's the same thing. Like a lot of people ask me, how how do I get startups going? And I said, actually, for me, startups are one of the easiest things to do because you don't really need to have a huge plan. In fact, a lot of
Yeah.
startups have a huge plan,
Yeah.
and after two steps, they realize that they should throw that plan away. So for me, a startup really is you have a desire, you have a vision, you take a first step.
Mm-hmm.
After you take that first step, you figure out where that first step led, and then you take the next step, and then the next step, and then after you look back and you go, "Oh my God, I've walked 100 steps!
Right.
Wow!" Right? So
Yeah.
so that's kind of my thoughts about having resiliency enough to say, I just need to take one
Yeah.
step. So these are the mental, I guess, the mind games I play with myself
Mm-hmm.
to help myself first be present and just say, hey, it's gonna be okay, buddy. It's gonna be fine. And then, oh man, this is painful. That's okay. Actually, that's why you need to take the next step because
Mm-hmm.
this is painful. Like, how long do you want to stay here?
To stay safe.
Okay, let's
Mm-hmm.
take the next step, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why when I was talking to you, I was like, wow, the word resiliency just kind of popped into my brain.
Mm, I agree with you. I agree. Self talk is good, and at the end of the day, back to the. I also think what energy. If you put in good vibes, you're putting out positive thoughts. They'll come to you. Like I always find, if you go into the slumber and you're like in that
Yeah,
negative spin, then it's just like you need to step out of it. And that
sure.
first step is like you said. That's just the most vital one because everyone can get stuck in a little bit of self-doubt or whatever, but taking that first step is that resilience sign. Absolutely, I agree
Yeah,
with you for
yeah.
sure. For sure.
So I can talk to you forever, man. But
Likewise.
I've come to the end of my podcast period time frame, and I got to ask you my last question, which is what I ask all my guests on the show. This podcast is all about helping CEOs of mid-market firms, find joy and success together. So, what final advice would you like to leave with our audience to help them have a more joyful and successful journey?
So let's think about this one. There's lots of different things. Like for younger people, I always say, like when you say, if I was giving myself advice, I'd be like, okay, just say yes, take any challenge, any opportunity. It's always going to work out, so just go for it and never worry about being ready, because confidence comes with growth. And so don't wait
Mm,
till you have all your t's and i's crossed. Like that's kind of the crux of it. And be curious, right? But I guess, like, to sort of be CEO sounding like summary, I'd say, success without joy is like short lived. Like the joy is the part that has to keep come all the time, and you need to seek it and find it every day. And so you have to find what is that success joy means for you, and then invest in those relationship
mm,
and things that bring you joy continuously. It's not one thing you get it and then it's like, oh well, I've got it, because it's a constant moving target. And so don't despair. Find what you want, build your life, not just your career, around that. And build it so that you never want to escape from it, that you want to live it every day.
Wow, that's great.
wow, Eva, thank you so much. Thank you so
Wow,
much.
You
Melissa,
guys
back to
made me
you.
feel so smart.
woo!